guys, Stephanie here, and I'm back with more movie chatter. And before I get going with today's video, I just want to give a big welcome to all the new subscribers who have signed on over the last week. And of course, a thank you to all the regulars who keep me going and keep the channel going. You guys rock. And so welcome and thank you to everyone. And if this is your first time here and you enjoy movie content, you know how YouTube works. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification so you'll know when I upload my videos. And it's October, so you know we're still rocking the horror content. You see I have my little Halloween light. I finally put the batteries in it. I know. Big moment of the day. I put batteries in my Halloween light. Anyway, what I'm doing today, the video, is my picks of the week. But I'm changing it up a little bit to fit our new content for the month. I am doing some picks, some new release picks for home viewing, and then instead of doing some theater picks, what I've done is I've chosen 3 horror movies. So you guys will have a little diverse selection to choose from, and hopefully between the 2 piles you'll find something you like, or a few somethings. Alright, so let's get going with my first one. This got glowing reviews when it was in the theaters, and I can totally understand why. It is called Leave No Trace. This stars Ben Foster as Will, and he is living in a park with his 13-year-old daughter who goes by the name of Tom. And the reason they live in the park is they say they're homeless by choice. And the reason is because Will suffers from PTSD. Now, we actually don't learn the specifics of what happened to him to cause he has a severe case of PTSD. But we don't learn the particulars of what happened to him, where, when, all that stuff. What we do know is that he was a veteran. Something horrific happened to him while he was serving, and as a result, he has a real issue fitting in with modern society. So he is living in the park with his daughter. He schools her. She doesn't go to school. They don't use cell phones. They walk into town and get what they need when they need it. And they basically live off the land. And she's a very smart young lady. He does a really great job of teaching her and schooling her. And she's a very smart young lady. And she's well ahead of where she should be. And we find this out when they are discovered living in the park. Local authorities come and social services takes them out of the park because they say it's not illegal to be homeless, but it is illegal to live in a park. And after evaluating them and seeing the skill set and how smart this young lady is and what a struggle Will is having because of his PTSD, social services decides that they are going to try to get them some place to live and try and acclimate them into regular society, where Will would have a job, Tom could go to school, things like that. And what ends up happening is they start to try and get them, you know, working and doing the things that slowly trying to get them to blend in with society. And Tom is taken to it very well. She wants to make friends. She meets some kids in the 4-H club, and she's starting to really feel at home in this new place. And Will is just, he's kind of going through the motions. You see, he goes to work, he does what he's told, but you see that he's struggling. And what we end up doing for the rest of the movie is following on their journey to try to find a way that works for them so that he can be comfortable and have the isolation and the freedom that he wants, and Tom can have the grounding and the socialization that she, as a regular 13-year-old girl, really needs. And she's starting to want more and more as she gets little tastes of it. And the interesting thing that starts to happen is that, and I think this is something that probably happens in a lot of these cases where you have a parent who has a debilitating condition, is that as the movie progresses and the story arc progresses, we start to see that clearly Tom is playing more of a parental role to Will than he is to her. So you get that flip dynamic. But this was a really good story. It was equal parts compelling and sad. And like I said, I think this is something that is true to a lot of people who suffer from these debilitating situations. But this was a really well done movie. It was a beautifully shot movie. The cinematography is top notch, especially the outdoor park shots. They're beautiful. And it moves along at a nice clip. Ben Foster gives a fabulous performance. The young girl who plays Tom, she's great. She does a great job. And it's rated PG, so it's pretty suitable for anyone. I mean, nothing crazy happens. But yeah, this is a really, really sweet story about a father and a daughter just trying to figure their way through life together. And yeah, I would say Leave No Trace. Give it a look. Buy it, rent it. Either way, give it a look. But yeah, it's a good one. And my next one, this is one that I talked about in my Blu-ray haul, and I told you guys I would get back to you when I had more thoughts, and I have more thoughts. This is from A24. It stars Jessica Chastain and Sam Rockwell. Woman Walks Ahead. And this is the true story of Catherine Weldon, who was a widow and an artist in the 1880s, who wrote a letter to the U.S. government authorities asking for permission to gain access to Sitting Bull because she wanted to paint his portrait. And she had painted a lot of portraits of famous people, and she wanted to paint Sitting Bull. So she takes this train ride across the country, and when she gets to the Lakota reservation, she is denied access and told to get back on the train and leave. Well, long story short, she finds a way to meet Sitting Bull, and the two agree on a price that she will pay him to be allowed to paint his portrait. And ultimately what this story is about it's about their friendship and how they learn to appreciate, understand, and genuinely care for one another in a time when this just didn't happen. These are two people that came from two completely different worlds, but they really, really find a common ground. And this movie was really well done. Jessica Chastain gives a great performance. Sam Rockwell is great. I mean, it's great all around. The cinematography is top-notch. It's a beautiful movie. It's shot beautifully. And if you enjoyed movies like Hostels, you're going to enjoy this one. It's not at a crazy pace. This is more of a personal story. It's more about her story, Sitting Bull's story, and their journey together. But there is that underlying conflict between the United States government and the Native Americans on the reservations, as this was the time period when that conflict was going on. So if you do enjoy that part of American history and films like that, you're really going to enjoy this one. And as a companion piece to this one, I would suggest Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. This was a 2007 made-for-TV, made-for-HBO movie. And it stars Aidan Quinn. And this is actually... It starts out with the Sioux triumph over General Custer at Little Bighorn. So there's a lot that goes on in this. So this film actually focuses more on the conflict, the actual conflict, where this film actually talks more about a personal relationship that Sitting Bull had with Catherine Weldon. But this would be a great companion piece because after you watch Woman Walks Ahead, you're definitely going to want to take time and watch this one. And this is a really nice DVD set. It's the book style, and they did a really good job. And I can tell you, just to give you a brief synopsis, it says, "To own the earth, there is no word for this in the Sioux language." And that was really what they were fighting over, was this land. And this movie does a really great job of showing the conflicts and getting more involved in what actually was going on between the U.S. government and the people, the Native Americans living on the reservation. So I would say, yeah, give this one a look too. This particular edition is out of print, but there is a DVD edition for like $5 on Amazon. I'm going to link it in the description so you can pick it up. And if you don't want to pick it up, I'm sure you can stream it. But I would say definitely the two go together. Woman Walks Ahead and then Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee. Two excellent, excellent movies about just a rough time in American history. And this one, my third pick, this one I heard pretty divisive things about it, but I figured I would take a chance. Solo. Okay, so here's the deal. I grew up on the original 3 Star Wars, which are now, I believe, 4, 5, and 6, because we got the prequels. So I kind of lost track of Star Wars when the prequels started. So I'm admittedly behind on my Star Wars. But what I heard about this one is that you didn't necessarily have to be up on Star Wars to appreciate this. And I can tell you that it's right. I know there was a lot of kind of iffy reviews going around about this one, but I thought it was really well done. I thought the guy who played Han Solo was great. He had a lot of little mannerisms that reminded me of Harrison Ford. I thought the story was good. The special effects were good. And I really found myself being engaged with this movie. And what it did for me is it reminded me of why I enjoyed Star Wars so much when I grew up on it. And it made me want to start from the beginning and revisit the entire franchise. So from that perspective, I think it did its job. So I think I was told, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, or if you're up on everything or not, this is going to work for you. And I have to say, I believe that's true. Everything about this was great. I thought they did a great job. It looked fabulous on the 4K. And I thought everybody's strong performances all around. I really enjoyed this one. And like I said, now because I saw Solo, I'm definitely going to go back and I'm going to start from the beginning and check out the whole series so I am caught up. But yes, you don't have to be caught up to appreciate this. It's basically how Han Solo became Han Solo, and it's not a story that any of us have seen before, so I think they did a really good job with it. And this is the Best Buy exclusive 4K Steelbook. Some people like this, some people weren't crazy about the artwork. You get artwork on the discs. This is the Blu-ray feature film. And then you have the 4K disc. And then we have the special features disc. Bonus features. So you have nice artwork on everything. And then we have the inside of the ship as the interior artwork. So yeah, and then on the back you have the gang and Chewbacca there, and that's how it looks opened up. So yeah, I think I would say Solo. Don't let the hate, you know, keep you from watching it. I would say if you're interested in this, give it a look, and if you've seen it and you liked it or you didn't like it, let me know in the comments what you thought of it, why you liked it, why you didn't like it. But I thought Solo was really good, and like I said, because of it, I'm going to go back and watch all the whole franchise from start to finish, so I'll be all caught up when they do whatever they do next. But yeah, I thought Solo was really good, so give it a look. That is my last pick for home, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away, I'm going to grab my horror picks, and I will be right back. Okay guys, I'm back, and I have my horror picks. And this first one, I believe came out in 2016. It is another Korean horror movie, and it is called Train to Busan. And I'm sure if I'm saying that incorrectly, you guys can let me know in the comments. Do it phonetically, because that's how I function best. Anyway, this is a terrific zombie movie. If you've not seen it, what we have is the very little backstory. We have the father here, who is obviously a workaholic, and he's raising his young daughter. He's divorced or separated from his wife. He lives with his mom and his young daughter, and he's a workaholic who admittedly does not spend enough time with his daughter, and he's realizing that he's missing things like her school play, or she's doing a song, she's doing a recital, and he's missing that, and his mother tells him, you know, you're missing her growing up, and he's just dedicated to work, work, work. And he finds his daughter on the phone at night with her mom, and she wants to go to Busan on a train to see her mom, and she tells her father, I can go alone, you don't have to go with me, and it happens to be her birthday. So what ends up happening is Dad takes the day off to take his daughter on the train to bring her to her mom's house, and he's expecting to be back by lunchtime. And what happens is, as they get on the train, we find out that there is this major zombie apocalypse going on. And I can tell you from there, it's just a full-on adrenaline rush, and it is a straight-up zombie rush. There is not a lot of backstory, like I said, but this is one of the best zombie movies I have ever seen. And yes, this is a subtitled film, but it is not hard to follow. And what I really liked about this one was that usually the zombies are really slow moving, and you're like, how can people not get away from them? These zombies kick butt. They are fast, they jump, they catch people, they come flying through the air. These are crazy zombies. And I actually heard that they're making a part 2, so I'm hoping in part 2 we get a little bit more of a backstory as to why they're going to say this zombie apocalypse thing started to happen. But this was great. I enjoyed this from beginning to end. It is a dramatically paced movie. It is not slow anywhere. It just keeps going. The action just keeps coming and coming and coming. The special effects are great. The action is great. All the action sequences work. Everything about this works. Like I said, the special effects and all that, awesome. And I really found myself just enjoying this from beginning to end. And like I said, I thought this was one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. So if you have not yet seen Train to Busan, definitely put it on your list. Check it out. It's a really, really good one. And I actually found out about that one from watching it. It was a trailer on The Wailing. I told you guys about The Wailing in my top 10 horror movies, but this one was one of the trailers. And my second one, this is an old one. It's a classic. It's from 2001, which it feels old, but 2001 doesn't sound that old. And I actually picked this up from Scream Factory during one of their sales, and I just got around to watching it. It stars David Caruso, of all people, and it is called Session 9. And while Train to Busan is a very dramatically paced movie, this one is not. But what it is it's a group of workers, I believe there's 5 of them, and they are hired to remove asbestos from an abandoned mental institution. And let me tell you, just the building alone will creep you out. It is so creepy looking. And this is such an atmospheric movie. Everything about it works. So this crew goes in, and the guy who runs the crew is a new dad, and he really needs a job. He really needs the money, so he puts them on this tight timeline. He tells the people who hire them, if you give us a $10,000 bonus, we'll get the job done in a week. And the guys are like, this is a 2-week job at minimum, maybe a 3-week job. But he insists they're going to get it done. So right away off the bat, you know these guys are under a lot of pressure. But what's also going on is this building, like any abandoned type of, mental hospital or prison or anything like that, it's a building that has stories. And there were lives that were there. And there were certain things, certain procedures that were done that were questionable, and we learn this as they're going through. And there's actually even some session tapes that one of the guys finds, and that is part of the narrative that's playing in the background during some of the scenes in the movie. And that's why I say this, although it's not a dramatically paced movie, it did not feel slow. It felt like it was going at the pace it needed to go at, because what we really need to do is you examine what's going on with the guys, the narrative of the tapes, and the story of the building, and you put it all together, and you're going to see all these clues as to what happened to make all these guys kind of come undone. And this is a real psychological thriller, horror type of thing. And there are some moments in here where it is so claustrophobic, it's just, you feel like you could crawl out of your skin. But I thought this was really great, and it's left open to a lot of interpretation. So I think everybody who watches it is going to take away something different. And I also think that each time you watch it, you're going to pick up on different things, or maybe see things from a different angle where you will have a different experience. So I think the rewatchability of this one is really high. So if you've not seen Session 9, definitely give it a look. If you have seen it, give it a rewatch and see if you take away anything different than you did in the past. Because, like I said, I can't wait to watch this again, because I know that I'm going to pick up on different clues, different nuances, different things that happen, different things that are said on the tapes that will help me put the puzzle together in a different way, because it can be interpreted in so many different ways. And this was a really, really unique movie. And if it had been at this crazy, fast, dramatic pace, you would have missed all that. But yeah, Session 9, I can't recommend it enough. I mean, I would just love to go on a tour of the building, because it was amazing. But yeah, this was really good. It was much better than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, definitely check this one out. And my last one, this one's actually from 1976, and it was resurrected when 88 Films gave it a Blu-ray and DVD overhaul, and it is called Alice, Sweet Alice. And this was actually the movie premiere of Brooke Shields. And there's 2 sisters, and of course the bad seed is Alice, and Brooke Shields' character plays the good sister, who just happens to be murdered on the day of her confirmation, and Alice is the prime suspect. And we, of course we don't know who the murderer is in the beginning, but all signs point to Alice. And the killer is wearing this creepy mask and like a yellow raincoat, just like the kid from It, Georgie from It. And that's what the killer is wearing whenever any of the murders go down. But this is equal parts like a dramatic thriller and slasher. But I mean, it was done in the 70s, so there's a lot of inappropriate things that go on. Like, every guy in this movie just comes across as so ick and creepy, and there's one guy that lives in the building down where Alice lives, and he just screams pedophilia. It's so unsettling. He's so gross, and it's so unsettling. But this is a gritty, creepy, grimy, great movie. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it, but it is a really, really good one. And if you have not seen Alice, Sweet Alice, this is definitely the version you want to see. It has a new 2K scan restoration, and it looks and sounds great. I mean, from taking it from what they had in 1976 and doing this, I think it's a home run. And it's also region free, which is really nice because sometimes 88 films are not. But yeah, this is a really, really good one. And like I said, it's equal parts. You know, it's not like it's not like a typical like Freddy Krueger slasher movie. It's got that thriller aspect to it and that underlying just that tension and that gritty, dirty street feel that was famous for the 1970s. And yeah, Alice, Sweet Alice. It slipped by me in the beginning, but I watched it a couple months ago, and then I watched it again about a month ago, and it's a really good one. So if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I will link it in the description in case you can't find it so that you can easily pick it up. But yeah, that would be my third pick. It's a really good one. So those are my picks for my regular home picks and my horror picks. So hopefully between the two piles, you guys will find something or a few somethings that you like. And I want to thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, hit subscribe, hit the bell, share. You guys know the drill. You know how YouTube works. And I'm going to be back real soon. I have some fun content planned for you guys. And that's going to do it for me today. So until next time, that's a wrap.